Washington Commanders fell, and boy, did they ever fall, to the Philadelphia Eagles, 55-23, in what was the absolute worst performance by a team in an NFC Championship in history.
Welcome to the AC Sports Podcast.
Boom.
My name's Derek.
Ross Field.
Season's over, Ross.
Yeah, man. Tough one.
How should I feel? I wasn't sad at first. I'm a little sad today.
Yeah, I feel you.
My energy isn't if you can tell. I'm a little dejected.
Yeah, that's all right, man. What a season. Nothing to hang your head.
Yeah, let's just start with the games. Just
okay.
What's your biggest takeaway from the Eagles Commanders?
Oh gosh. I think defensively Philadelphia had a good game plan. I think they learned a lot from Detroit and how Detroit played Jaden. They learned a lot about what to do, what not to do. I think they spied them, helped kind of slow down Washington's offense. I think Washington, the moment was a little bit too big for some of their players. They turned the ball over. They committed some kind of strange fumbles where they weren't like protecting the ball. They were kind of loose with it. And then like defensively, here, Saquon, let's part the Red Sea so you can run through it, or Josh Shipley can run through it. And then like 55 points. I mean, Dan Quinn's kind of a defensive minded guy, and to see Philly just put up that much was like shocking to me.
Yeah, I mean, the last score was, kind of the wheels were already off the hinges.
True, yeah.
The doors were off the hinges.
So 48 points then.
Yeah, when you know that you have to game plan for Saquon and he just runs like that on the first play, it's confusing.
Yeah.
I mean, end of the day, it really wasn't about game plan for me. It was just about athletes.
Yeah.
And I mean, Bobby Wagner got exposed, dude.
Yeah.
We've been talking about him a little bit, and he's old, and this is his he's a free agent too. So I wasn't aware of that when we were talking about him possibly retiring, but it seems like it makes sense. I mean, that Saquon run, he was just middle linebacker, just no shot, and it was his tackle, and that set the tone. I mean, they still could have battled back from there, but 3 fumbles.
Yeah.
None by Jaden still. So, I mean, no, I wasn't upset after the game. How can you be when you were 4-13 last year and you have a future like this?
Yeah,
but
future's bright, no doubt. Philly can run the ball, man. They handle the trenches. They pushed Washington around. And that was kind of. I mean, you're speaking on athletes. I think it's interesting though that everybody knew what was coming. And
right.
they still couldn't kind of slow it down, which, I mean, we'll see what happens in the Super Bowl if Kansas City can slow down Philly's run game. Another thing that was kind of strange, I thought, was like the beginning of the game, the first drive, Washington goes for it a few times on 4th down. They get close. They're like well within field goal range, but they didn't go for it again. I wonder if that would have changed the complexion of the game had they gone for it, got it, and then gotten into the end zone and scored a touchdown that drive. Because it just really felt like, the first play that Philly, is down 3-0. They get the ball, they take it to the house, and it's like, oh boy, here we go.
It's a tough one. I mean, I think they're obviously playing the how far is the field goal statistics on that. So once you get into where it's like a 35-yarder, then you kick it. But inversely, once you get closer, you can also, it's better to go for it too, because they're pinned back. I was okay with them going for that. I mean, I just wonder what would happen without the fumbles, I guess.
Yeah, totally.
And I had a little rant about cold weather playoff games. We saw it happen to the Rams too, not able to hold the ball. Like, is there a little bit of that? Are you, if you're not used to the weather as much, are you more prone to fumble?
Yeah. Well, I would say yes.
I would love to see the neutral field still with these guys.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I was thinking about that a little bit more.
I'm kind of making excuses, but I'm kind of not either.
No, you make a good point. I think like it's fun when football's in snow or it's in like sleets of rain, because what ends up happening is like as an offensive and defense, you kind of have to throw out the game plan a little bit, and and it becomes kind of like good old fashioned like who's the tougher team? And that
that
element is so fun
too.
Well,
sorry to cut you off.
Kind of, but I mean, like in the dome, when there's no weather elements, you can call up and drop whatever play you want. But when it's like, a blizzard out there, it's like, okay, like who's the tougher team? Like we're gonna snap the ball. The offensive and defensive lines are gonna bash each other. We're gonna hand it off, and can you get a few yards? Yeah. I mean, that's fun,
Yeah, I couldn't stop thinking yesterday about how close the Rams were.
Yeah, agreed.
Like we were so close to going into LA.
Yeah,
we're probably in the Super Bowl if that happens.
Yeah,
in those conditions. By the way, I said neutral field. I didn't mean neutral field. I meant neutral conditions.
Yeah, right. I gotcha.
Man, so close, dude. That they were within the 20. Stafford overthrows the guy on fourth down.
Yeah.
Oh, so close.
Yeah, and that's, I think, with what Philly did to Washington, it kind of may unlock some eyes as to like the Rams were really good this year. Like they got really good near the end of the year, and they very well could be, one of the better teams.
That's a good segue, Ross. The king of the unknowing segues. What I do like about this from a potting standpoint now is the conferences are set.
Okay.
Like that's what's cool going into the Super Bowl is like we know what the NFC was, we know what the AFC was. There's no debate anymore who the best team is. And I want to go through the kind of ranking of who the best teams are based on their playoff performance.
Okay.
You down?
Sure.
Okay. So number 7, we'll start with the AFC. Number 7, we have the Broncos and their quarterback Bo Nix. Let's mix in quarterbacks with this because we're going to go quarterback heavy today on the pod. Bo Nix, the 7th best quarterback in the AFC. Okay. Herbert, the 6th best quarterback.
Okay.
Notice that I'm just tying the quality of the quarterback with the quality of the team.
Right.
Because at the end of the day,
the
quarterback's job is to win. So who won?
I'm a little different down here, but keep going. Keep going.
5th best quarterback. The combination of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. I mean,
they're easily 7th.
It's a fact, though.
But they're on the bottom of the list. They were so bad near the end of the year.
Okay, let me be clear then. So this 7 through 5, the Broncos had the worst loss in the playoffs.
Okay.
Chargers had the second worst. Steelers had the third worst.
Got you.
So
okay.
that by the way, yeah. And we'll circle back to this Wilson Fields thing. CJ Stroud, the 4th best.
Yeah. They made some noise in the postseason.
Our top 4 winningest AFC quarterbacks are kind of locked in.
Yeah.
No one else is. Burrow's on the outside looking in right now.
Mm-hmm.
Nix is a new guy on the block.
Yep.
And Herbert still can't get in there.
Yeah.
Stroud 4, Lamar Jackson, based on winning.
Yeah.
The 3rd best quarterback in the AFC.
Yeah.
Should we stop there for a second? I mean, he's leading the MVP talks.
Yeah. He's probably going to win it.
His performance end of the year
Yeah.
says he's the 3rd best team in the AFC, let alone the best quarterback in the NFL. What say you to that? Do you not like that? Are we ignoring the fact that he can't win in the playoffs and he's still the best?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, I don't. I think it's an appropriate space for him when you consider who's above him.
Yeah.
And then you think about kind of what's going on. I mean, in the other conference, so looking at the other conference, I mean,
which we'll get to, yeah.
Yeah, which we'll get to. I think Lamar's right where he should be, and he's probably better than everybody in the NFC right now. So being behind Allen and Mahomes makes sense to me.
Right. So Allen 2 and Mahomes 1.
I mean, I may pick one guy in the NFC above Lamar right now, and that'd just be Jaden. Jaden had the best total QBR, has the best total QBR in the postseason so far. Better than everybody else on this entire list.
Made it over 1,000 yards rushing and 4,000 passing.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
But I put Lamar over Hurts and Stafford and Goff. So, I mean, three's a good spot for him, even though it's kind of like, wow, he's going to, probably win another MVP.
Yeah, and there's, I guess, excuse me, the reason this is interesting is because it's just this perennial battle of, who's the winningest? Who's the best? It's like Rodgers is the best. He's not the winningest. Yeah. Lamar's the best. He's not the winningest.
Oh, yeah.
So let me just...
Patrick is the best. Yeah. Patrick is the winningest.
well, he wasn't the best this year, though, right? Which we talked about plenty.
I think
statistically.
Yeah, he's
not in the MVP conversations. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
True. I do see what you're saying.
That didn't make the Pro Bowl.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
Yes.
So it's it's
probably going to win another Super
matches
Bowl.
Up. Right. So I think I'm just going to take that narrative of like, Lamar's the third best quarterback in the AFC. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, what are we measuring this on?
I mean, you could put him in front of Allen. I mean, him and Allen are neck and neck right there.
They are. And the Mark Andrews drop hurt.
Who do you have one, though? Burrow or Mahomes?
Mahomes is number one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Burrow's number 8.
Yeah. Okay.
Bo Nix is better than Joe Burrow.
No. But
in terms of
based
winning,
on what you're saying, yes. Yeah.
It's just good to rewire our brains a little bit to kind of settle down on maybe the Burrow Jackson talk a little bit,
This is a bunk ranking. It's just based on playoffs, though.
Yeah,
and it's important to win and get in. So you're
bumping
right.
up the Stroud talk a little bit too, I think, is a takeaway. Nix is there. Let's talk about Russell Wilson and Justin Fields.
Okay,
we're going to talk a lot about backup quarterbacks, where they could go, who's a free agent, what teams should do what. I'm looking at this. Steelers' 5th best team in the AFC this year, record-wise, performance-wise. And they don't really want Wilson or Fields.
Yeah.
That's, like, lights are flashing for me with those two guys when it comes to other teams. If the Steelers don't want them, it's like people aren't, it doesn't seem like there's enough excitement around Wilson and Fields in the free agent market.
I think there'd be more excitement around Fields. I think Wilson's he's up there, man. He's played a lot of football. He's older. I mean, maybe a team gives him another shot to, I don't know.
Oh, so you're at maybe a team gives him a shot, not that he's a certified winner for the Raiders with his ex-head coach.
That could happen.
And his Marshawn's going to be around. And Brady's there, and Brady wants, picking a certified winner makes sense.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's a good fit for him, but I certainly don't think that all the teams in the market for a quarterback are going to be salivating over bringing Russell Wilson in.
Okay, good. I mean, that's the conversation I want to have, though. Yeah,
I mean,
I think and I agree with you, and I think that they should be a little bit more.
Okay,
considering that, like, if you're a team like the Colts, the Browns, the Raiders, we know the Giants or Titans are going to draft somebody.
Yeah. I mean, he's like
Browns
getting in
too.
that Flacco, getting in that Jameis Winston sort of area now.
Really?
Where it's like he's a good, guy who could, manage a team for a year or two while they definitely look towards the future. If he goes to the Raiders, do you think that's going to dissuade them from wanting to draft, Shador or Cam Ward or Will Howard or a quarterback?
You do both. Like you said, you do both.
Right. I think that's the point that I'm trying to make right there. It's like
Russell Shador next year.
Yeah, Russell Shador seems nice. Like let Shador learn from Russell. Yeah. I mean, kind of maybe the same situation that happened with Fields this year.
We know that Shador worked in the offseason with Brady. He's worked one-on-ones with him for a while. Black and yellow, silver and black. I feel something's there. Like, and if the Steelers don't want Fields, which they should 100% sign Fields.
Yeah, they should.
They could probably get him on a decent contract too.
Agree.
He was winning games when he was starting, straight up. Wilson was too, and obviously they fell off a cliff the last month of the season, but they played the hardest teams in the league. We forget that the Steelers were in first place pretty much all year until the last couple weeks.
Yeah, some people get fooled by them, but really they play the same season every season.
I'm looking at both those guys. Like, all right, Steelers. Good luck. I don't know who you're gonna get, but we'll cover all that.
The thing about Russell in the silver and black that you bring up a really, really good point on is that Pete Carroll's there. So, there's a lot of familiarity. They've won together. If, the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, want to develop a quarterback and have somebody that can, do the job for a year or two, Russell makes so much sense.
And he's going back to the AFC West where he already played. Remember when the Broncos made the opposite of the Steelers team? Was that only last year that Wilson was on the Broncos?
Yes. Feels like 5 years ago.
Remember when they made a run in the second half of the season?
A little bit.
And they beat the Chiefs?
Yeah. They had a
like
little
16,
bit of a
10.
run.
It makes I don't know, man. It's like that veteranness. If anybody can pull it out against Mahomes, why not Russ?
Yeah.
In terms of who's available,
I
think it makes so much sense on so many levels. And I think there was some kind of inklings that Brady had like complete control over the coach hire.
Okay.
I think he has he's a minority owner like Jay-Z was with the Nets, but he has, I think, a ton of say in that organization.
You would hope.
Yeah, right. If you're Mark Davis, you're like, here are the keys. Fucking do whatever you want, Tom. So just something to look out for there.
You know what? I appreciate how you have a lot of love for like the veteran QBs, like Winston, like Flacco, like Wilson. I guess I do, don't I? You do. Yeah. It's cool. It's like I'm like the opposite. Like if you don't have a winner now, you better find a winner that can get you moving in the right direction.
You know what I think finally tipped?
I was going to say, I think I'm a little scarred because of the Niners and the Jimmy G experience.
Sure. Well, he brought him to Super Bowl.
He did, but then
it was
like,
talking about?
I know, and it was great, and I got a lot of love for Jimmy, but there were a few years after that where he was just uncorking some very bad passes, and at clutch moments of games would do something that cost them, and there was just frustrations mounted. But yeah, that's where I'm like, don't even waste your time with a veteran quarterback. Find the quarterback of the future now and start developing them. That's my vibe.
I love it. I mean, I like this pod so far because we're bringing different
perspectives.
Perspectives. What else was I going to say about that? Shit. Well, I don't want to edit this pod, so I'll move on. Let's go to the NFC. Okay. Damn it, I had a good point. Anyways, okay. Number 7.
It'll come back to you.
The number 7 team in the NFC, Minnesota Vikings.
It's wild, too.
They had the worst loss.
They did have the worst loss.
Sam Darnold.
Most overrated division of all time.
Yeah.
That's probably a stretch.
I mean, the Lions loss is going to stand out as just the craziest.
I know, dude.
Sam Darnold, free agent. Only free agent on this list. Top 7 guys that are free agents. Teams should be salivating.
Yeah.
I think every team should be salivating over Darnold as well.
He's different to me than
he's
Wilson.
He's only 28.
Because he's younger.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I remember my point.
Yeah.
You said you were jaded against the old quarterbacks?
Yeah.
What swung me was Flacco's performance with the Browns last year. I was like, okay, this is insane. This guy's coming off the bench and now they're winning. So that's what a
4-game window.
That's what tilted me for life.
Did they make the playoffs with him?
Yeah, dude, they were 12-5.
They snuck in and lost to somebody. Yeah.
Okay, so NFC, Sam Darnold, Vikings. Like the Steelers, for some reason the Vikings are like, we're good. I mean, JJ McCarthy, I guess is that reason.
I think they're going to bring him back.
And we're okay. Yeah, and I think you're in the minority on this opinion, big time.
I might be.
Yeah, I don't think anybody thinks he's going to.
Unless they get, I guess if they can't get him to sign for a friendly deal and he gets thrown a ton of money elsewhere, he's gone for sure. But I feel like from Sam's perspective and his agent's perspective, maybe not his agent, but from Sam's perspective, he should be like, this was a really good fit for me. This was a good spot. It like rejuvenated my career. I want to be here and I want to keep growing and playing. That doesn't happen too often in sports nowadays, but every so often it does. And I just got a little bit of a feeling that Sam Darnold is that type of guy when you consider how his career trajectory has gone up to this point. He's in a good situation, and I think he'll realize that. But I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, well, everyone else thinks I'm...
You're basically saying he's going to turn down like $10 million extra to stay with the Vikings?
I could see
that's insane.
I could see him turning down more money. It's not it wouldn't be the first time that's happened. That happens a fair amount in sports. You know, it really does.
You have a good heart, Ross. You have a really good heart.
Yeah,
there's no way he's turning down the money.
It depends on what the offer he gets from Minnesota. Like if Minnesota gives him a good offer and maybe a higher salary per year, but a shorter contract yearly wise from another team, he can maybe
that's the franchise. Like they can franchise tag him.
They could franchise tag him. Right. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that at all. If they sign him to a 2-year deal for a ton of money per year compared to like another team that's like, we'll pay you 5 years, darn near a max salary.
I think O'Connell has already the body language is there. He basically said thank you for your service after the playoff game.
Well, we'll see.
I called O'Connell McConnell, by the way, on a pod. Sometimes I go back and listen to these things. I'm like,
that's an easy thing to do.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I get hard on myself.
Come back to the Niners, Sammy.
And we're going to talk coaches a lot too. Speaking of the Niners, you got your boy Saleh back.
Big signing.
That's exciting. Okay, Darnold, number 7.
Okay.
Well, let's just talk about what the best fit for him would be if it's not the Vikings.
Oh gosh.
Raiders, Browns, Colts, Titans, and Giants are, I think, the obvious 5 teams that are going heavy after a QB. There are some teams on the fence, I guess you could say. The Steelers looks like they're getting rid of Wilson and Fields. They obviously need a QB. What are the Dolphins in Tua's future? What are the Jets with Rodgers' futures? The Seahawks, we got some talks about Geno getting traded maybe. What are the Seahawks going to do? Looks like the Niners are locked in with Purdy.
Yeah, we'll see.
There's talks of him getting a huge contract.
Yeah, talks for a while. So hopefully it's not too big.
Are the Saints running with Derek Carr?
Yeah, good question. That's one I was thinking.
The Panthers, they're locked in with Bryce, but how's that going to go?
Yeah.
And then the Vikings, of course, with the McCarthy-Darnold situation. Of these teams, where do you see Darnold fitting well?
Yeah,
or
great,
best?
Great question. I mean, the Raiders seem nice to me.
The Raiders are. Why do the Raiders feel attractive? They do.
They do.
But they're in the fucking hardest. The AFC West had 3 playoff teams this year.
I think because the coach vibes,
the Brady vibe,
and the Brady vibe.
Yeah.
The Brady vibe's a big one.
Honestly. The Marshawn vibe.
Yeah, the Marshawn
as
vibe.
team mascot, basically.
Yeah, it was funny. He was yelling Raiders at the Pete Carroll's press conference. That was funny. A Jets reunion doesn't seem that far fetched to me for some reason. I kind of look at the board and think maybe he goes back there. The Titans I feel like they're going to draft a QB, right? So
they draft him, and then Levis maybe just competes with the new draft guy. They have Mason Rudolph, who did decent.
Yeah,
as
he's
well.
not terrible.
So I think we'll see the Titans they're going to draft Ward, and then those 3 will compete.
And so it doesn't really make a lot of sense for them to want to throw big money at a QB this offseason.
They have the first pick.
Yeah, they got the first pick. Colts, maybe.
Colts.
Ooh, you like that one?
I love the Colts for Darnold. I mean,
that actually
can you not
makes
see
sense.
that?
Yeah, no, you're right. The Colts maybe for sure.
Same.
You're convincing me here.
If maybe there's something about the Vikings have good regular seasons often. I think I've mentioned this. I think there's dome relation to that. It's like they know what they can do. They don't have to worry about elements. I'm just stuck on weather and the elements. So Darnold's going to an Indy similar kind of home environment. And you could see him ripping off in that weak-ass AFC South, too.
Yeah, true.
Texans are vulnerable. I think we see Darnold
go to the Colts. That makes a lot of sense. He kind of fits that vibe. I mean, sort of Andrew Luck, kind of Peyton Manning, kind of Joe Flacco, kind of
the white
Sam
boys,
Darnold. Wait, well, you said
it. Nobody wants to go to the Browns.
No. Giants. They're going to draft a QB too, right?
Giants are in New York, and they have Raiders have the 6th pick. Giants have the 3, I think. They have 3rd.
Yeah. They'll probably draft a QB.
They'll probably get Shador, but I haven't looked into. So the research I did for this, I did not look at any rookies yet. So that'll be a further pod. This is just kind of existing quarterbacks. So let's continue with the NFC rankings, though. We're going to hop back and forth.
I think we're good there with Jets, Colts, Raiders. Potential big landing spots for Sammy and the Vikings.
Shit. Okay, let's stay on this.
No.
No, I really want to. Okay.
Okay. My bad.
The Steelers, right?
Yeah.
They don't sign.
They could bring him in too.
Right. Or they don't sign Wilson and Fields, right? Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
Comes down to Pittsburgh to just give it one last shot.
I like it.
Knows that the institution's strong. He's going to get his 10, 11 wins during the regular season, so he'll be in a situation at least to compete in the playoffs. And then that opens up the Jets' position for potentially a Darnold as well, if that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
I can see drop these tidbits in there in case we're right.
Rodgers in the black and yellow bumping some Wiz Khalifa would be pretty fun.
It's the team he beat when he won the Super Bowl.
That's true.
Ryan
Clark
would be out.
He would not be stoked.
But that would be like part of Aaron's decision to troll Clark.
Yeah, troll him. I love it.
This is fun. Okay. Back to the NFC.
Okay.
Number 6 team in quarterback, the Green Bay Packers, and Jordan Love.
Do you know Jordan Love had the 5th best QBR this season out of all the quarterbacks?
Yeah, I was keeping track of it.
Isn't that amazing?
He was a top, and in the combination of the rankings, he was a top 8 guy. Love is staying put. Not much to talk about there. Packers at 6 feels about right. It's cool to look at the AFC comps too. It's like Vikings and Broncos. Okay.
Yeah.
Packers and Chargers.
Okay. Yeah.
Baker and the Bucks, the 5th best team in the NFC.
Yeah.
Good spot for them.
Good spot. Baker had a good year.
Baker ain't going nowhere. If I'm a Bucks fan, I feel pretty decent, even though it was a really disappointing wild card home loss.
Yeah.
I'm not mad if I'm the Bucks. They did lose their offensive coordinator, who we'll talk about, to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Duval.
Yeah.
They may have some question marks personnel-wise. I just hope Mike Evans gives it another go.
Yeah,
and Godwin's back, gets fully healthy. I mean, McMillan showed a lot of promise late in the season. Baker's going to have some weapons to get the ball to. Obviously, they have a great running game.
Bucky Irvin's got a season under his belt.
Rashad, maybe we'll see what happens with him. But yeah, they got pieces, man. They could be really good next year.
And they're going to compete with the Penix Falcons next year for the South. The South is kind of always wide open, though. You never really know.
Wide open.
Even though the Bucks, I guess, have won it 4 years in a row now.
Yeah.
The South.
But it's always seems like, what you're saying. It doesn't really.
Anybody can beat anybody in there.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem like someone's dominating. What about Derek Carr and the Saints?
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, you do. I said that just for you.
Number 4 quarterback in the NFC and team, the Detroit Lions, and Jared Goff.
Tough playoff performance.
Seems sacrilege to put the Lions on par with the Texans. But
yeah, it does.
When they played, remember, very close game.
It was a
Goff
close
threw
game.
5 picks.
Yeah.
There were some signs there with the Lions.
There were some signs
in
there.
hindsight, there was
interesting.
So Lions, Texans, sorry, do better, Lions, and you'll get a higher rank.
Yeah.
Jared Goff, a lot of people are saying that he just has this kind of ceiling come playoff time. He can't live up to the pressure. I equate the Lions to the Ravens and Goff to Lamar. I mean, not in obviously playing style, but just in terms of their kind of their ceiling so far, And I mean, to be fair, Goff even made a Super Bowl. Lamar hasn't.
Yeah.
So that's my comp.
That's interesting.
Stafford and the Rams, the 3rd best team in the NFC this year, out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah,
horrible
really
start.
On late.
Matt Stafford, just end of the day, he gets it done.
Pretty solid.
You want him over Goff? Oh, the trade.
He
won the trade
so far.
You want him over Goff, Baker, Jordan Love. Even you want Stafford. I know Love's flashier. Stafford's going to win you ball games.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me. I feel like all those spots are just can mix and match, and you'd be fine.
Well, there's my old guy Love again. Stafford's been doing this for a long time.
He has, and he just announced he's coming back.
We love that. And then our top 2 in the NFC for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts.
10 years is a long time.
You look at the other guys underneath them.
Yeah.
Who's going to step up and compete with these teams moving forward? The thing about the Commanders is that they got Jaden Daniels on a rookie contract.
Yep.
They have the 3rd most cap space in the NFL.
Yep.
So all the talk immediately is like this roster is going to look very different next year. I mean, that's these are very. I know I'm a fan.
Yeah.
But these are very hard things to overcome if you're another team, and this team now has all this space to spend money.
What do you spend money on?
Defense.
Yeah, I think it totally changed
Defense
this
and
past
line.
week. It's like they're going to need they're going to need a lot of defense. That's one thing I was thinking about. It's like Bobby Wagner. So you're going to need a stud linebacker.
Khalil Mack is what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, you could get an edge rusher like Khalil Mack. You can get, I mean,
corners. We need corners.
You're going to need interior line to, be successful in that division as long as Saquon's in Philly and Philly's running the ball the way they are. You're going to, I mean, Lattimore, I hate to say it. I mean, he looks a little washed.
Give him an offseason. I feel good about Lattimore, actually. I still think that he could even have a Pro Bowl season next year. He got a lot of crap for his performance, but I think it was, I don't know, I think that it was just high pressure, high stakes, and people were ready to jump on him. I mean,
he's certainly proven that he can be an incredible DB in the league. He's had a great career, but he is older.
That AJ Brown rivalry going forward is amazing. I mean, I like Lattimore's IDGAF mentality, and that I like guys that kind of take it a little too far sometimes.
Yeah.
It has to. It's an art form. You can't go too wild with that stuff. But no. I mean, you look at. So my biggest takeaway from last weekend is just how strong the Chiefs and Eagles are.
Yeah.
Just from the middle out.
Yeah.
They're
Totally.
just too fucking strong.
Yeah.
So you just got to load up with that strength in the core and go from there.
Yeah, well, and you're right. I mean, it's a really good sign for Washington that they have a lot of cap space and they're, now a very attractive place for free agents to want to play. I just hope that they can pull the right strings and bring in the right personnel in. Like, I mean, I know earlier this year we were talking about like Tyreek and T. Higgins going there. If I was them, I'd be like, I think we're probably going to put our money elsewhere. I mean, because Daniels can make average receivers good and good receivers great, which is what Brady did throughout the course of his career. And I think if they can focus, some of the spending on O-line, D-line, and everybody on defense and upgrade, then they will be one of the better teams in the NFC for the next 10 years. And, specifically while Daniels is on this rookie contract.
Yeah. I mean, I think, though, we have the money to do both.
Okay.
We have the money to still. DK Metcalf is in talks. He's a little older. T. Higgins is the obvious guy that is just would be so attractive to have him and McLaurin on the ends.
I don't like T there.
Interesting.
No. Yeah.
I mean, we do forget sometimes. I'm totally with you. It's like build it from the center out with strength and position players. Like we see it with running backs. Like they're kind of disposable. There's so much talent out there. Yeah. You can kind of fill in the position players if you have the right quarterback and the right nucleus at the line. But we also do forget about how important star receivers are. Yeah. I mean, it does matter having to have a T and McLaurin now that you have to guard downfield. I mean, if we can pull that off, we have like $78 million in space, so we can get him and take care of our other needs. Yeah. That'd be ideal.
I feel like I would rather have Metcalf as long as he came cheaper, and I feel like someone like Tyreek could do so much for that offense in terms of like having to guard somebody that's just a freakish athlete speed-wise and can stretch the field. I really like T. Higgins. He reminds me a lot of Brandon Ayuk in that, like, he doesn't really have something that jumps out in terms of, like, he is absolutely excellent in this one area. He's just really good in a lot of areas. Like, Brandon Ayuk's probably best quality is that he's a terrific route runner. I feel like T. Higgins' best quality is that he's probably a terrific route runner. But how much does T benefit in the Cincinnati offensive system, knowing that Jamar's on the other side and demanding a lot of attention?
And he has Burrow thrown to him.
Yeah. So I guess if you do, now if you have Terry and T, double T, which would be kind of cool.
T-time.
Then, I like it. So then, I mean, maybe he would get some good matchups. I certainly don't want to knock T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins is a great football player. I just wonder if there are other better options out there for them.
Well, it comes down to cost. How much is he going to cost?
Right. Good point.
Yeah. And maybe since Tyreek is basically kind of demanding a trade, we don't know if he'll backpedal from that. If it was just emotions
seems like
after
he
the
is
season.
kind of,
Generally, when the player is and when a team in front office is in that position, they're not getting 100 cents on the dollar, right? It's like you got to trade them for like maybe a second rounder, probably a third, and we've seen that in history where like A.J. Brown. Like, where you get these trades like, what? They got that guy for a second rounder?
Yeah.
Or so if we can pull something like that off with Tyreek, 100%.
Yeah, right. You don't have to give up too much.
Maybe like, because we have late picks too. So like a late second rounder for Tyreek, I'm almost saying, is that too much?
Yeah.
So, but that's what's going to happen in negotiations. And that's why you can get like, if we can get like a third rounder and maybe like a future third or something, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go. I do agree. Cost-wise, all things considered, and Tyreek in that offense would be pretty great. We just don't have like a big guy like a T.
Yeah, or DK.
Right.
Would be a monster.
Okay, well, we could spend a lot of time talking about it.
No, it's really interesting. It's going to be cool to see what Washington does moving forward.
Yeah.
I mean, they are here to stay, and they're just going to get better.
I feel better again.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a quick break.
Do it.
Be right back. All right, we're back.
Bing, bang, boom.
We have more quarterbacks to talk about. We got coaches to talk about, and we have the segment that we're going to start with, the real MVP. Okay? We should wait until this point of the season to name the MVP every year.
Okay.
That way, it does give some separation for a Super Bowl MVP. Okay? We don't know. That's separate still.
Okay.
Regular season MVP, we got to wait till after the conference championship.
Yeah. So how many spots did Mahomes rise in your MVP ranking?
A lot. A lot. One thing I've noticed.
Who's your boy that comments and trolls us on Instagram? He's going to be happy.
I don't know.
Is that Scott Land?
Oh, yeah, Scott Land.
Scott Land. Hey, Scott Land, this is Mahomes love for you, bud.
Yeah, look, here's the thing. I have some strong opinions. I have opinions on how things should. I didn't realize how many opinions I give on this pod where like this should change fundamentally, and I'm doing it again with the MVP. How we do
We're
it?
opinionated.
But I will always concede when I'm wrong. I'm not too proud to do that. If you're gonna give big opinions, you have to step up to the plate and apologize, Trump voters. All opinions are my own. All political opinions are my own. MVP race based on how this season ended. Here's my list. You're looking at it, so it's not going to be a surprise.
I am.
The viewer doesn't know. The listener. Number 5, Lamar Jackson. Sorry, bud. Got to win.
Yeah. Mark Andrews screwed you over.
This one was a coin flip.
Yeah, this is interesting.
3 and 4. I have Josh Allen 4 and Jaden Daniels 3. They both. Now the Bills had a better performance. So if I'm going based on like the top 7 rankings that I just did with the quarterbacks in the conferences, technically Allen should be 3 and Daniels 4. But the Bills are a perennial kind of double-digit win team. I know they lost a couple guys. The Commanders were a 4-win team, so that put Daniels just a little bit above Allen for me at the end of the season. Okay. Daniels made the conference freaking final.
Yeah.
So Allen 4, Daniels 3, Patrick Mahomes, number 2 MVP this year. I concede. Also, my hate for the Chiefs kind of dissipated this week.
Unacceptable.
I'm not going to... It's like, what? I'm not going to fight this fucking battle. Like, I'm just going to keep driving myself crazy. Like, I hope the Chiefs lose. Like, it's a losing battle.
You got to clip this and definitely send it to Scotland.
Okay. So, Mahomes number 2. And the most valuable player of the 2024 season, and this may be proved even further in a week and a half, is Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. Yeah, good list.
Good job, Saquon. If Saquon doesn't get it this year, which he won't, let's get rid of the award. Literally, what more can a running back do?
Yeah.
Literally
For
nothing
real,
more. Dude. Breaking all records, 2,400 yards, and another game to go. And he's like 4th MVP voting on a team that doesn't, I mean, Hurts is incredible, but a team that doesn't have like a standout MVP style quarterback.
Yeah.
To be in this position, Saquon has to be the MVP. Otherwise, get rid of the award. Just call it the best quarterback, and then we can have, I don't know.
It is so interesting how it always ends up being a quarterback. This is kind of a good year to really have that argument of like, if there's ever a year where the quarterback doesn't deserve it, especially after what's transpired in the postseason, this is it.
Yeah.
Saquon's been the best player. It's true.
Okay, so that's my MVP list.
I put Daniels 2. I think.
Ooh.
I put him a little higher than Mahomes.
So you gave your list a few weeks ago, and I refused to give mine because I wanted to wait till today to do it.
Oh, cool.
I wonder if yours has changed a little bit.
These were the guys that I had.
Okay.
If my memory serves me correctly.
To be fair, the top 5 are consensus. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
There's no question.
Yeah. Although it was a little not as consensus a few weeks ago.
Right. Well, there's a little Goff talk. There's a little
Hurts
Darnold talk.
Yeah.
Little Hurts talk.
There was. Yeah. And Derrick Henry talk.
Wow.
There was some Henry talk.
I forgot. That's interesting. Derrick Henry's kind of disappeared from the zeitgeist over the past couple weeks. Haven't thought about him.
We want winners.
All right. You want to go quarterbacks or coaches?
Either or, man.
Okay. Let's dive into the coaches real quick. Or not. There's some comedy here with the press conferences. We have the Dallas Cowboys. Did you see that with Jerry Jones and
Schottenheimer? I didn't. Fill me in.
Jerry Jones looks like Joe Biden. And I'm not a Joe Biden critic, but I guess at a certain point,
Jerry Jones, the actor.
You can't ignore your eyes. Yeah, incredible performance. But he's kind of losing it.
Oh,
Jones.
Snap.
He was rambling. He was saying things that were really weird and awkward and uncomfortable. He was like, I couldn't have taken a bigger risk with this guy. And Schottenheimer's like, what? And like, we kind of knew what he was alluding to, Jones, but it's like, it's those situations now. He called, did you see the clip I put? He called, he said it's not all roses and glory holes.
What?
He meant to say like glory. So you miss these things?
Are you sure that wasn't like AI altered?
No, it was real. And
dang, Jerry,
So him being in charge, it's just like,
well, hey, Robert Kraft in the, massage parlors. Jerry Jones in the glory holes. You're welcome. Clip that shit. Send it to Dallas.
So, just bad times for Dallas moving forward. Bad times. It's the best time to be a Commanders fan ever because Cowboys just look like disasters.
Disarray right now.
Las Vegas, Pete Carroll, we mentioned the
Raiders at the press conference. That was pretty funny.
They had the coolest press conference out of the 6 teams.
Did.
Actually, there's another team in contention for that. That team is New England. We're not really talking about Vrabel. That's amazing for them.
That is a good hire. I like Vrabel.
That's the best hire of the 6 to me, I think, pretty clearly.
I like Carroll.
Carroll's probably number 2.
My gosh, dude.
Number 3.
Perfect scenario for Pete.
We talked about Benedict Johnson last week, so we don't need to recover his move to Chicago. We didn't talk about Aaron Glenn. What are we thinking about Glenn? He did you see his press conferences at all?
I did not. I just love that New York hired Aaron Glenn. I get stoked when African American, coaches get an opportunity to be a head coach in the NFL.
He came through like a badass in his press conference, like very tough, like
love it.
Get your fucking shit together, motherfuckers.
Okay, it's gonna be Mike Tomlin style.
This is a very NSFW pod too. I'm doing some reflections now that we've had a few episodes. I'm going back and like I swear a lot on this pod. But he called out Rodgers at the press conference.
Oh snap!
He was
What'd he say?
He's like, "There's questions around Aaron Rodgers. Where you at, basically?
Oh,
what you gonna do?
Okay,
just on blast.
Bye, Aaron. See ya.
Yeah, how's he react to that? I feel like, not that I don't know Aaron, but I feel like he's kind of 50-50. I don't know. I feel like he's 50-50 on the Jets just in general.
Yeah.
Or maybe even less than 50-50.
Yeah, I feel like he's less than 50-50 after he was clowning the owner's sons for like the Madden whole situation on McAfee show. That kind of left you with the vibe that like
self-sabotage to get out.
Yeah, he kind of like doesn't respect the situation, which actually was a funny situation. The owner was like taking advice on who to pick up, who not to pick up based on his grandson or son's Madden
I forgot
ratings.
that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, that whole thing was like, whoa.
Well, there's also the gigantic irony of the anti-vaxxer going to play for the guy that owns Johnson & Johnson that made a vaccine. You never that was a funny
never
thing.
Put that together. That's great.
Very funny. Vaccines in the news the last couple of days.
RFK getting grilled.
I'm just going to lean my head on the mic. Okay. So
didn't look good on both sides, to be honest, man. Some of the interrogation is like, what are we doing, dude?
New York, moving on. So New York with Glenn, I feel decent about them. It's still like, why get rid of Saleh in the first place?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But
thank you.
yeah, seriously. And then we have
the weird one. The odd one. Is it odd? I feel like it's like Ted Lasso going to coach the Jaguars a little bit. Like the press con was like, who is this guy? I'm excited. It's going to be entertaining. Dude, let's go.
You know,
it's going to be funny.
All this DEI talk, it's like, to me, I keep seeing doofus. I'm not going to get political with this. Sorry.
Okay.
The guy looks like a doofus.
He does a little.
I look at him and I'm like, I can coach in the NFL. If this guy can.
That's what I mean. It's like your neighbor is now like coaching the Jaguars. Like it's
that guy from Chico. That guy coaches at PV. 100%.
Yeah.
He played at PV in 2000. He played at Butte.
It's like, it's going to be that kind of vibe. It's going to be fun to watch, dude.
He reminds me of also some people. It's like, and this is why I bring up DEI, because like the guy's just hopped around from job to job for like a year at a time. I don't know, BYU, the Rams. It's just like he doesn't have any like concrete. It seems like he keeps being given jobs. And like, I guess he's good. He coached Kentucky. Maybe not BYU, but
Kentucky. Yeah.
And I don't know. Okay. I'm being harsh on the guy. I'm being a little political.
We'll see what happens.
I'm being a little political right now, but I mean, I'm just going off of his energy. To be fair, Gannon kind of brought a similar energy with the Cardinals last year. I think they're going to be fine. I just wonder how some of the players, obviously he's going to kind of have to run with this and joke about it and elephant in the room, this whole Duval thing and just kind of his vibe. Like, there's going to be a lot of players looking at each other at practice like,
this guy coaching us? That's true. He's going to have to win the room over quick.
That said, I think they'll be okay in that AFC South. I made the prediction that the Titans were going to win the AFC South next year. That all depends on kind of how this quarterback situation falls. But there's a lot of quarterback flux in the AFC South. So I'm in coaching flux. I'm kind of a little looking forward to that. It's like that's a fun division for me.
It's going to be dramatic.
I like keeping an eye on them. Okay, there's our coaching. Any
Big
other coaching
for
comments?
Trevor Lawrence, man. If Trevor Lawrence doesn't get it together this year,
they do have one of the best receivers in the NFL.
Brian Thomas?
Thomas emerged. I mean, he killed it last year with Mac Jones and some other backups.
Final thoughts. Let's go New England for probably locking down the best head coach so far.
Those are going to be some fun teams to watch next year. Speaking of Mac Jones, we can wind the pod down here with an in-depth quarterback analysis for 2025.
Okay.
I put this into segments a little bit here. Okay. I mentioned and this is why I wanted to mention the quarterbacks with the top 7 teams in each conference as it played out in the playoffs.
Okay.
Because we're setting those guys aside, right?
Okay.
We got some free agents in that group. Darnold, Wilson, Fields, very interesting, but we're going to set those guys aside for now. Who are the best outside of that group, right? We have Burrow. We have Kyler. We have Purdy. We have technically Tua when he's healthy. And I'm going statistically here.
Dak when he's healthy, maybe.
Yeah.
He's had some big years.
Yeah. These are guys basically the highest upside. Dak is in there. Drake May is in there.
Caleb,
Lawrence, Carr, and Penix. Yeah. That rounds it out. I don't know if I mentioned Bryce and Gino. And we'll put Rodgers in there just because, if Kirk's going to be in there, Rodgers is going to be in there. That's our group of good QBs, high ceiling.
Yeah. It's a very generous group.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't think that who doesn't have a high ceiling in that group?
I just feel like Kirk, Carr, Lawrence.
Okay.
Probably.
They're near the bottom.
Yeah. I feel like Gino. I feel like Rodgers.
Okay, so let's make a separate group then. Burrow, Purdy, Kyler. Who else do you put in that? Do we put Penix in that already in terms of upside?
Yeah, I feel like Penix and Caleb do, and Drake.
Penix, Caleb, Drake. So that those are the second year.
You're two guys that got some good. Caleb's got a really beneficial situation now. It feels like with the new head coach, who'll probably try to open up the offense a little bit and let Caleb shine.
And maybe we keep Bryce in that Penix, Drake,
Good
Caleb
call.
group still.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And then where do we put Tua? Does Tua go into the Burrow, Purdy, Kyler group?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So then the group outside of that is Rodgers, Geno, Dak, and
Lawrence,
and Kirk.
and Carr.
And Carr. Okay. I underlined Kirk Cousins because where the hell does Kirk Cousins go?
It's a great question.
He's getting paid way too much to be a backup. They could keep him.
He could come to the Niners. I mean, he's got history with Shanahan. I could see him coming to be a backup.
Well, that's the thing, but the backup part.
I think that's what's going to end up happening. You don't think he?
I don't think so because there are a couple teams out there.
Yeah, like we mentioned earlier.
I think there's an obvious landing spot for Kirk Cousins.
Obvious landing spot. The Browns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're the team that Shador came out and said, "If you draft me, I'm going to pull an Eli Manning, and I'm not going to go." Which I don't know. We should maybe take a second to talk about that.
Alicia Manning.
So I think Cousins goes to the Browns. The Browns still have Deshaun. Jameis is gone. He's a free agent. So they still have Deshaun Watson.
They do.
That we just completely forgot about.
Where's his name?
He's in a separate group.
Okay, I see him.
So, yeah, we can hash out a little bit on where some of these guys could go. Does Tua come back to Miami? I guess we're just going to pencil that in. Everybody else on the list, Purdy looks like he's coming back to the Niners, like we said, and Geno. We don't know with Geno and Rodgers.
You see that NFC list of 7?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be in that next year?
Purdy?
Yeah. Come on.
They better be.
They better be.
So, So Kirk to the Browns, Kirk to the Giants.
Could see it.
Oh.
I could see it.
I like that.
I could see it to the Raiders, too.
Technically, Raiders, Colts, Titans. Again, these are our 5 big teams.
I could see. Could he go back to the Vikings?
No. You and the Vikings, man. The Vikings are set.
On J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What else do I want to say about that? So I mentioned that the Falcons aren't going to have him as a backup. I think the only choice they have is to cut him or trade him.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to keep him. It's going to be cut or trade.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can save some money if they cut him.
Yeah. And he's not going to want to back up Penix.
Right. Okay. So Kirk to the Browns or Giants.
Okay.
Let's pencil that in. Other guys. Okay, we got some free agents here. We got our old guys. Old guys. Andy Dalton. Joe Flacco, still alive in the NFL.
The red-headed rifle, Andy Dalton.
We got Garoppolo.
Jimmy G.
We got our slightly younger guys. How old is Cooper Rush? I can't tell if he's like 22 or 40.
Yeah, for real, dude. That's classic. I think he's up there a little bit. He's probably like 29, 30.
Okay, so slightly younger guys, Cooper Rush. We have the Broncos backups, Stidham and Zach Wilson are free agents.
Jarrett Stidham.
We have
Zach Wilson, MILF Hunter.
We have Taylor Heinicke. Wait, what's the story behind that? MILF Hunter?
Google it. He was hooking up with some MILFs when he was in New York, dude. So, come on, you don't know about Zach Wilson?
I don't follow Zach Wilson.
He'll be your new favorite quarterback after you read about this, man. He's a legend.
We have Taylor Heinicke. He's a free agent. Other guys in
He's still around? What team was he on this year?
He
Saints?
was on the... No, he played on the... What team was he on?
Yeah, dude, dang.
Sammy Howell. Played a game. Howell.
Huntley.
We got Snoop Huntley. We got Tyrod, old guy still around.
Tyrod Taylor.
And Jake Browning.
31 years. Cooper Rush, 31 years.
Okay, perfect. That's right in the middle.
Jake Browning, California QB.
Great stint with the Bengals when Burrow was hurt.
Yeah, he proved he could play a little bit.
Any of these, do you see life in any of that group?
Oh, gosh.
Who do you like best out of that group?
Yeah, Flacco.
Really?
I mean, maybe Zach Wilson's got a little life just because he's probably him and Sam Howell. because they're the youngest in that group.
You don't like Cooper the best?
No. I mean, no.
Okay. I think Jake Browning is probably the
most good call. Yeah,
I
put Browning in that same Wilson, Howell, Browning.
Dalton, Flacco, Garoppolo, and Tyrod. Should they just retire?
Yeah.
I mean, they won't. If they can get a check, they can get a check. But it's interesting they're still on teams. Tyrod, actually, he's probably the best out of that group. Dalton can still play a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing more exciting.
Flacco's got a Super Bowl, man.
Okay. I'm going to go with Browning.
Jimmy G's made it to the Super Bowl.
Browning and Cooper Rush. Are those going to be appealing guys? Well, Cooper Rush is the free agent, so we mentioned, do the Browns want him? Do any of those teams want a Cooper?
I'd be pretty surprised if he got a starting job.
Yeah.
That would surprise me. Could it happen? Yeah, but I think you'd be happy if he was a backup. With what he proved this year, with Dallas when Dak went down. Yeah, he's a serviceable backup.
He earned a contract.
Yeah, he earned a contract. Give him a shot.
Okay. Let's move on to
Hold that clipboard.
Last group here, a little more random group.
There was Rudolph and Rattler and Ritter and Pickett.
I forgot to mention Carson Wentz is kind of the old guy.
It's funny how you wrote that down.
I know.
That jingle came anyway. Okay, well, you're welcome. It worked.
Okay, some more free agents. Who do you like best out of this group?
Milton.
He's not a free agent.
Then why is he there?
Oh, I circled the free agents.
Oh.
We got Jameis. We got Carson Wentz. We got Jacoby Brissett. We got Mac Jones.
We
got Drew Lock.
Okay.
We got Trey Lance.
Lock and loaded with Lance and Mariota.
And we got Marcus Mariota. What do you like out of those? Any of those guys playing next year?
I really like Mariota. Yeah. I thought what he did when he came in and got a shot this year, just he's such a good, veteran type presence. I think he showed some great leadership and mentoring Jaden and kind of just there's some good vibes around Mariota, man. If I was a team out there, I would think seriously about giving him a shot, not to just be a backup.
Who's the obvious team on the board?
Raiders.
Go back to where you came from.
Go back to where you came from.
To Tennessee, man.
To Tennessee.
Mariota back to the Titans.
Yeah, I could see it.
Okay. What do you think about Drew Lock versus Mac Jones?
Drew Lock had a couple good games for the Giants. I don't know if it's enough to convince me that, I really want to give him a shot or he's the next Sam Darnold, but there's potential.
Okay. You know what I'm realizing? This isn't as interesting of a conversation as I was going to be. It's like we don't
We're
care
talking about exactly.
I'm interested in this kind of thing.
Okay. I know you are. I'm riding shotgun with you, dude. Trey Lance.
I apologize for this
rocks,
segment.
Trey Lance. Kick rocks, dude.
Mac Jones and
frustrated Niner fan.
Drew Lock.
Waste of a pick. How different would the Niners situation be?
Who could they have had instead?
If they made the right decision. Well, they could have had their picks. They shouldn't have traded for the slot.
Did that set them? Ooh,
it did, dude.
That's why they were in the position they were this year, the Trey Lance trade.
Yeah.
A couple years later.
Yes.
That's a good point. That's a good take.
Lynch and Shanahan dropped the ball on that one. Fumble.
Okay, last guy. Ross is playing long here, trying to stretch this segment out with me. Thank you, Ross. Davis Mills, Joe Milton III, Aiden O'Connell, Kenny Pickett, and Rudolph Rattler Ritter.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Rattler.
Who do we like? Oh, yeah, this is a comedy segment. What am I doing?
Dude, we're rolling. Is Minshew and Levis and Watson and Daniel Jones in this too?
Oh, wow, so disrespectful. Oh, yeah, they're at the bottom.
And Anthony Richardson?
Okay,
then I'll take Richardson. I think he's got a lot of potential. I think Milton's got some potential.
Richardson, Milton.
I don't know. I got a weird, odd, only person in the world affinity for let Aiden O'Connell cook.
The takes on this are amazing.
You know what I'm saying?
No one has ever uttered that sentence in the history of the world. Let
him cook, dude. Give him a shot.
Oh, cookle. No, sorry, that wasn't good.
Come on, but Richardson, right? Right? No, you're not
I think I'm on the record as not believing Richardson, but that's insane. He's so young. Richardson and Levis are basically the same.
Yeah. Levis. I like Levi's.
Will Levi's.
You see his mayonnaise commercial? Have you seen that? It's so funny.
This list is so. The longer I look at this list, I can't stop laughing now for some reason. Deshaun Watson.
Who wrote this all down and thought this would be a good idea?
It's such a good idea. Deshaun Watson and Kirk Cousins just battling it out on the Browns.
Yes, dude, that's awesome.
I'm going to pay such close attention to all these guys next year.
Yeah.
I'm a big fucking third string quarterback guy. This is my thing now moving forward. This is my identity as a podcast host.
Hey, if you want third string quarterback talk, you'll find it right here on the AC Sports Podcast. No one else is talking about this.
Well, look, dude,
and it's entertaining.
Okay, this brings up a good point. So Okay, we're on episode 9. Okay, we're cooking along. YouTube episode. I think we've done like 14 total.
Cooking like ain't no Connell.
Numbers are doing decent. Gonna keep I'm putting my time and effort in this thing every week to improve it on the back end, on the production end, on the marketing, all that. Anyways, I don't watch like major sports talk stuff. So like,
yeah, neither do I.
I intentionally don't watch ESPN or Fox or these things, so I can have my own takes, basically, right?
Okay.
And because I noticed I was watching a little bit this week, and I was like, "Oh fuck, I was going to talk about like
yeah,
it's like
it happens." Well, that's normal.
It's normal, but I at least like to think like I at least like to know that I didn't get this from Ryan Clark on ESPN or something.
Right,
like that.
We're thinking outside of the box.
Even though I might mirror exactly what they're saying, we're going to inevitably, right? Because there's only so much to talk about.
Thanks for forcing me to have a unique take.
That's my point.
Right,
is that we got to kind of come with a third string talk.
Davis Mills and his long neck.
I like Davis Mills.
Yeah, put him somewhere.
Dude, you're cracking me up. I was like, this is a serious. When I was writing this, I'm like, this is an important, serious conversation.
It is kind of serious.
But
you can have some fun with it, though.
It's also hilariously not. None of these guys are going to do anything, are they?
Well, I was funny you mentioned that because I was just thinking like, I feel like all of these guys are going to be on teams next year.
Yeah.
And there may be like one or two that don't.
But that's
still
the
crazy. Odds are, it's kind of crazy. And there's a fair chance that a few of them are going to get to play some games. So,
well, and we have the
it's important.
Part of this too was like who's going to be the Sam Darnold for next year.
Yeah, true.
So maybe let's try to have a little specific segments here.
Mariota.
Well, we close it out. The Sam Darnold next year for you is Marcus Mariota.
I just hope somebody gives him a shot.
Interesting. Let me look at this list.
You think it's Drew Lock?
Who's my Sam? I mean, he had the best statistical game in NFL history in Week 18 this year.
It was crazy.
Pickett was serviceable, granted on a Super Bowl team.
I know,
but he played the Commanders well.
He played well.
They should have won that game because homeboy dropped that third or fourth down. Yeah,
good point.
So it's Pickett season. Who's gonna be?
Yeah, who is
my Sam Darnold next year?
Minshew? No, he already got a shot.
I'm not a huge Minshew
Daniel Jones. Where did he go?
He's on the Vikings.
Oh, Daniel Jones, dude.
This is my favorite segment ever.
Dude, what if they don't sign somebody? They hand the keys over to McCarthy in week 2. There goes McCarthy's Achilles or something. And now all of a sudden Daniel Jones is forced into that situation with that roster.
Or they just start Jones like
the whole way,
no matter what, from the beginning. Jones won a playoff game 2 or 3 years ago. Let's not forget, he signed a 40-year contract for a reason. Stupid. The Giants have the worst front office in the world, but DEI. Yeah. Look at the guys running the Giants.
Oh my gosh, dude. That's a great call. Daniel Jones.
So Daniel Jones, and the Vikings notoriously have these kind of mid quarterbacks that have great seasons. Daniel Jones winning 13 games next year.
Could happen.
Who's my Darnold, though? I think it's...
Mine's Aiden O'Connell.
It would... Okay. It would be Jake Browning, but I just... He's
not going to get a chance.
Not going anywhere.
But yeah, someone should. I like Jake.
What if...
Jake the Snake.
What if the Browns...
Okay.
Or the Colts or Giants.
Okay.
Or Raiders or Titans or like we'll give you a 3rd round pick for Jake Browning. Bengals are in the second. It'd be more probably like a fourth, maybe.
I'd be like a seventh. Be like, cool, we'll take a pick for Browning.
No, but I mean, he's super valuable. I mean, Burrow's injury prone. Browning's very valuable for that team.
Yeah. Was he the backup there this year?
Yeah, he's their backup now.
Okay.
He didn't play. I don't even think he played a snap this year. I could be wrong about that. I didn't double check that.
No, he was there. He very well could still be.
Browning's my Darnold if he were to get a chance.
Okay.
Who is? I haven't had a laughing fit like this since I was a senior in high school. Okay. Who on this list is done next year? Cut, gone, never plays again. Oh my gosh,
so many. No, not so many.
No. We just said that there aren't many on this list like that.
Yeah.
Who do you like?
I just think age would, knock a few of them.
Garoppolo, maybe.
Yeah.
Is he done?
Heineke. I see like Brissett, Wentz. Like
Wentz is done.
Yeah, like that's the thing. It's like the age. I feel like
Flacco, is he done? You liked him.
That'd be a crime. He's still got a little life.
He's old, dude. Are he and Rodgers the same age?
Stidham could be done.
Isn't he young?
He's younger. He's older than Rodgers.
Okay. The fact we put that much time into this was amazing. Thank you, Ross.
You're welcome,
dude.
My
favorite thing ever. I think we can wrap things up. Oh, do you want to close out with our OTYs or our OTYs, our POYs, our ROTYs? Let's do it. Off top of the dome. Who is your coach of the year?
My coach of the year
for 2024.
Dan Quinn. Rookie of the year, Jaden Daniels.
Whoa.
My
Dan
bad.
Quinn's your coach of the year?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think what they did is amazing.
Wow.
Give a lot of credit.
Love that.
Andy Reid, second place.
Wow. I got to give it to
O'Connell.
I got to give it to my man in Philly.
Sirianni. Can't stand that guy. Yeah, good one. He did a great job.
Sorry, I mean that team's freaking unbeatable.
Yeah.
Rookie of the year, that's not really a question there.
Bo Nix.
Defensive rookie of the year. Do you know enough to make a call on this?
Yeah, Verse was such a monster with the Rams.
Who's in the Super Bowl? It's a rookie who starts on defense who's a badass.
Cooper DeJean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Cooper. Yeah.
Now Sanders my guy in Washington.
Yeah, Sanders still.
But Cooper's there.
Cooper DeJean's solid, man.
I'm gonna throw it to him.
Okay, I don't have a problem with that.
Verse though, I like that too.
Yeah, Jared Verse was good.
Defensive player of the year overall.
Surtain.
Over Watt.
Over Watt. Sick of Watt.
I settled on Will Anderson for that.
Oh yeah, Will Anderson's good.
Love that guy.
Okay, solid. Look at that.
All right. Any final thoughts? Any personal stuff? Any off sports for a couple minutes you want to talk about?
Final thoughts. No, I mean just I saw Cowherd go on a little bit of a rant after the Commanders-Eagles game back on sports here real quick. And he was talking about like how impressed he was with Philadelphia and how they have like a star at every position and they're so deep and they've got like such a great line. And he was just kind of like just gushing over Philadelphia. And there's like, and he was talking a little bit about how there's like no other team that's like this. And I was just thinking like, the team they're playing in the Super Bowl is exactly like
They're
this.
exactly the same.
They have so many good players at every single position. And there's like guys that make plays like Noah Gray catches, 4 or 5 touchdowns a year and he's like their second, third string tight end. Like, Watson catches big balls in the red zone for Mahomes and like barely has like 10 receptions on the year but makes like key plays. And they've got so many little like players that fit kind of their style and all these little gadgets and they're just like a bunch of Swiss Army knives and it's like
it's the foundation. It's that nucleus, that core. It's just they're so strong, these teams.
So it was interesting that Cowherd was kind of having this like revelation about the Eagles and I was just thinking like, well, the Chiefs have been doing that the last few years. And certainly not to knock Cowherd. I mean, what Philly's done is so impressive and I get what he's getting at. I think maybe Philly has more star power. I mean, especially at the wide receiver spot, right? I mean,
yeah, it doesn't really matter, does it?
It doesn't. I mean,
this this is the right matchup. It's perfect. I'm coming around a little bit on, I mentioned, not hating the Chiefs. It's like,
yeah,
there is an argument that, like, it is good to have greatness and it is good to have dynasties, and we usually have them.
Yeah.
And there's something to that being a good thing. I err on the side of parity. I love parity. I would love to have new teams every year, but I guess I got to put my finger on what it is that is good about a dynasty, because there's certainly something. I mean, it's about witnessing greatness. It's about seeing what's possible, or, it's about, like, I don't know. We deal with these things in real life, I suppose, too. It's like, and we can either hate or we can emulate.
Yep. Mahomes emulating Allen in that game was really fascinating. There was a lot of, like, they ran a ton of RPOs against Buffalo, and Mahomes just, like, pulled it back a few times and ran around the outside and, like, rumbled into the end zone, had 2 rushing touchdowns. And it's like, that was coaching to me. It was so incredible that they were like, hey, Josh Allen, hold my beer. We're going to do what you do against you, and you're going to love it. It was like, damn,
it was the coaching matchup end of the day, that Buffalo KC game. We'll sign off here in a second. What's of note to me in the AFC is this shit was close.
Yeah,
Ravens barely lose off a fluke.
3 good teams.
Bills barely lose. If the Ravens go to that game, do the Ravens have a better chance than the Bills to beat KC? Maybe.
Great question.
I thought Baltimore was going to make the Super Bowl, and that Andrews drop end of the day is what will lead us to never know. Would have loved to see that.
And the turnovers. I mean, just like Washington, Baltimore turned the ball over against Buffalo.
Those cold weather fumbles.
Interesting. I mean, I don't know. This is it, man. This is it. We got Super Bowl coming up. Part of me is like, this is the lamest year of football of all time.
Because the Niners.
Because the Niners, and now, like, the 2 teams like that.
Wow.
Christian McCaffrey was like, I hope both teams lose.
That was a clip from
it was
a year or 2 ago, right? Yeah.
It's like Chiefs Eagles, like the 2 like teams that have probably frustrated the Niners the most over the last few years in recent memory. It's like, gosh darn it. It would have been so cool to see Jaden in the Super Bowl. It would have been incredible to have a rookie QB leading Washington. That would have been the greatest thing of all time. And it would have been really cool to see either Lamar or Allen.
Yeah.
And just somebody other than the Chiefs. So
it's lame. This is America. We can't have nice things at the top.
I can't wait for the commercials.
What commercials?
Super Bowl commercials.
Oh, right. Kendrick is obviously the highlight this season.
Word.
I'm coming around on it. I mean, the hate is so strong, and people hate to see the same teams. Yeah. So I'm just going to go the other way now. I like that they're there.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to eat some good food. Halftime show will be cool, but it is kind of like, oh, darn.
All right, AC Sports Podcast on YouTube. So it's at AC Sports Podcasts. We're looking for subs. We're doing pretty good on hours watched and views, though. We're doing pretty good.
Yeah, we are, dude. We got the 3rd string quarterback talk, y'all. we got that QB talk.
We need some subs, though. Sub to us. We're on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible for the streaming. NBA. We're probably going to do a big NBA episode next week, hopefully, with the week off. And we will talk about the Super Bowl a little bit more next week. Ross Field, DA. Ahlswede Collection at Instagram. Run, Ross, run. Deactivate your TikToks, though.
What?
And Twitter. Deactivate that.
No, get on that TikTok.